Hooty hoo. See what we're looking like. What's going on? What's going on, people? Man, I just had the urge to just talk to you guys and stuff, for a second and stuff here, man. There's some things that, I'm seeing in the market. There are some a lot of changes, with in the AI landscape of things. And yeah, man, I just want to rap. I want to rap with y'all and stuff, and let you guys know what I'm seeing. Um, I'm just checking to see if we went live and stuff in other locations too. Yeah, man, I just want to let you know, guys, what I'm seeing. What what I've been noticing. A lot of changes are happening at a very very rapid rate. And I think there's a lot more things to come. Simply just because the current ecosystem, everything that we live in, and stuff. And so, break it down and stuff for you guys. Let me know if you guys got any questions, and stuff, and we'll get started here in a few seconds as I make sure that we're live, um, and stuff in the rest of these places and stuff here too. Boom, 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 boom. All right, what's going on? What's going on? Let's get set up and stuff here. All right, all right. All right, cool. Let's rock and roll. All right, guys. Man, so guys, if you don't know, my name is Marlon Avery. I run a company called AI Impact. AI Impact, we teach individuals, organizations, governments, software engineers on artificial intelligence, and then basically like the integration of such. And so we've been doing so for quite some time. So now I also run another organization called VoicePath, where we teach, or I'm sorry, where we build AI voice solutions for SMBs. What's up, Trevor? And so, I've been doing so for quite some time too as well. I live by myself. I'm a software engineer by at trade. Taught myself how to code quite some time ago. Went to work for large tech companies like Uber. Also, too, worked at large tech companies. I led a program while I was at Treehouse, where I led a program teaching individuals how to code in 8 to 10 months, and then placed them in roles and such after that. They got the attention of a larger ed tech platform by the name of Udacity, where I led over there, where I ran about 50% of the engineering courses, of stuff over there. And then they got the attention of a venture capital firm by the name of Elisha Capital, where I became engineering director of the largest minority-owned venture capital firm based out of Midwest. And then after that, well, actually during that tenure and stuff while I was there, leadership came to me and said, "Hey, Marlon, we just got access to this tool called ChatGPT. I'm sorry, called OpenAI, not ChatGPT at the time. But you got access to this tool. Do you think can it possibly, help us write grants faster?" That was the question and stuff at that time. And so the answer then was yes, everything with having no clue what to do. And so I said, but let me go figure it out. Let me go figure it out and stuff, from there. And so um, as soon as I start to kind of like build an application, I got a quick and very, very quick understanding that, oh man, this works. And so uh, basically what we did is we built the first AI grant writer on top of GPT-3. And then, once I hit compile and I started to see that this thing works, and I was like, oh man, this works. And I kind of started really paying attention. I was like, wait, this works really well. So I was like, hold on, and so, and that was like 5 years ago. And so since then, I've been building, teaching, educating, and stuff. And so as well. And I've been really every single day, I've been getting a better and deeper understanding of where we're going to lead into like this AI centric workforce. And so that's what we're going to dive into today. Kind of talk about today. And so some of the things stuff I'm seeing, particularly a lot of the changes happening over the last couple of years. As this thing starts to expand and stuff. And so, um, With that, McKinsey and Company, they did an article quite some time ago. They said that generative AI was going to add anywhere from 2.6 to 4.4 trillion dollars to the economy. And they said it was going to fall into four categories. Category number one being customer operations. Category number two being marketing. Category two being software engineering. Category number three being marketing, and category number four being R&D. And so, the more I started to like kind of like read into that, and the more I start to understand what they were alluding to, the more I start to understand that uh, they're probably like underwhelming the impact of what's going to happen and stuff. And so, what I start to learn, and what I start to figure it out, when I start to lead these workshops, is it was a time and place, like, ChatGPT, when ChatGPT, launch, that in that November, when they launch, I remember using the tool probably like 3-4 days after they launch or so. And as soon as I used it, I was like, oh, I know exactly what this is, because we had built something similar when I was at Lightship, or at least like the context of what we need to build. And so, like, essentially what we ended up building with the grant writer was, a RAG application, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. And so basically it is the ability for a model to source your information, your knowledge, your articles, whatever you provide it, and everything, and use it in context as a response. And so once we built that, and I started to kind of see how ChatGPT works, and I was like, oh yeah, I know exactly what this is. And I understand where this is headed. And funny enough, I was started telling friends, I was like, hey guys, you really probably need to pay attention to this and everything. And everybody kind of like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm telling you guys once. And then literally, funny enough, because even today, one of my good friends is Jason. He called me today. He was like, man, all right, I got it now. I'm all on board. And funny enough, I've been getting that conversation, that phone call, probably like once, twice a month, for like the last 5 years. Just from people with different space in my network, friend group, and across the board. So, um, with understanding like kind of where the market is, and the impact of what we're going to see, there are some. I think the biggest question is like, is it going to take my job? Is it going to replace me? The answer is yes, and because it depends on what job and stuff you're doing. So, but we've already started to see this already happen. I would imagine, at some point, when you're in a grocery store, at some point you're like, why do they have only one line open? Why is only one register open? And businesses, organizations, they listen to those type of complaint, and the response was, self checkout. And so we've already started to see like these automations and these things happen. And typically, technology always, wins. Like it, love it, and stuff how you want to be. And so, but the most important thing is to onboard and get along with stuff with it and everything, and most importantly, figure out how to integrate it, inside your, problem, your use case, your operations, or whatever you have and stuff there. Um, since ChatGPT, OpenAI just announced like a couple weeks ago that they have now 400 million weekly users, which is a lot. I have hosted about a little bit over 100 different workshops in the last 3 years around AI, from nonprofits to software engineers, to governments, small businesses, medium businesses. So I've hosted several different workshops, and I've seen the evolvement in conversation. So when I first started these workshops, the question was, what is this? Then that advanced to how can I use it? Which that's still lingering in some times. Um, which that is starting to advance to, okay, well, how can I use it for me? And stuff and stuff. So that's kind of where we're at and stuff right now. as all of this is happening, man, a lot of businesses are already starting to figure out how to integrate this and how to, you know, use this and automate this within certain operations and stuff within the business. So yes, the answer is yes, it is, impacting jobs. If you like it, love it, and everything. The definition of impact doesn't automatically mean removal, in some cases and stuff as well. So I think I'll say this. Um, the roles for sure that I know definitely that are in danger, shall we say, um, of being, automated, being, wiped out, in a couple of years, are some of the following. So the four categories were typically where we're seeing AI have the biggest, impact around operations, and this is also another research from McKinsey and Company, is the food service industry, um, customer service and sales, office support, and then production work, meaning like like freight stocks, production helpers, kind of machinists, type of things. And so um, they said that 11.8 million workers currently right now are in occupations that is in shrinking demand. And in the food industry, we're starting to see this where you're starting to have, AI models being replaced with drive-throughs. And so, um, is it Wendy's? I can't remember. I think Wendy's is what I mean. There's like three of them or something like that's already implemented, AI within within their drive-through servers. And so there's a few of them, but also too, the custom operations one is the biggest one, because we're talking about a lot of, individuals who are doing customer support. So taking phone calls, responding to emails, escalating situations. I think that for sure is one of the biggest one. And that's a large industry, so I said at the beginning of the call too, I also run a company called VoicePath where we build, AI voice solutions for SMBs, and we're starting to see this already. Like we built an AI voice solution for a neurologist practice, and it's good. I mean, it has the capability of speaking up to 20 different languages. It can update things like CRM calendar, so it can book appointments. It can do in real time insurance verification. So when you give the insurance, it can tell you if you're in network, out of network. Um, and also too, it has the ability to process transactions, over the phone too as well. And so, I mean, we're already starting to see this. I mean, and this is just like, this is just like the bottom of it. This thing's just getting started, And so, with this, and so, and that's a neurologist practice. That's a very, that's a, I mean, that's a very important, lane in that, we're already starting to build solution stuff for. And so another category, we know we talked about the food industry, the custom operations, and stuff there as well. And then, custom operations and I would say customer service and office support. I think they're kind of go hand in hand. But I mean, we were realizing, we had the privilege of having a conversation with a very large phone company, and just the script that they were showing us, and just a lot of the responses that it was giving, what humans were giving, is so repetitive. And if you're in the industry where you're just doing repetitive tasks, over and over again, no matter how complex you think it may be, no matter how lengthy you think it may be, man, it's in danger, to be replaced and be automated. A lot of these things are happening, and a lot of things to be built, stuff in real time. And unfortunately, you know, these companies are not going to, most companies, now let me say no, most companies not going to tell you and kind of give you a heads up of what's happening. They're just going to be building kind of behind the scenes. And then once they get to a place where they feel like it's efficient enough and everything, it just kind of just, stuff from there. Um, and this is happening. This is happening. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So those are some of the definitely the roles and everything that will be, they're already in danger. And everything. Now, there are some roles that has been created, because of AI, too as well. And so, I remember when I remember when people was for certain prompt engineering was going to be this whole, this new industry, and it was just being this new role. And I was like, no, that will be a skill set within several roles. But some of those roles that we are starting to see, I want to say Amazon kind of create this role, and a lot of the companies started to adopt it. So things like an AI solutions architect. And so solutions architect, what they would do at large tech companies is, say for example, customer A comes to Amazon and they say like, hey, we want to integrate, build, execute, this solution within our business. And so solutions architect would be the middle person, within the customer and also the tools and everything that Amazon has available. And they will put together a plan based off the tools that they have and show them kind of like a step-by-step process of how they can build, said solution, and stuff in there. And so solutions architect already existed, but now you'd have focus areas of, artificial intelligence with a solution architect. Another one too is, like an AI automation specialist, so individuals who know how to use platforms like make.com, Zapier, NAN. We're starting to see a lot of, these particular like role skill sets and everything start to increase, too as well. So that's one of them. I think a big one is AI cybersecurity engineers. Um, we are any technology that you put in the hands of people, people will use it for good, or people will use it for bad. That's just human nature. And unfortunately, you can't change human nature, and the technology is never meant for good or bad. Well, it's meant for good, but people can be manipulated to what they wanted to do. So I think AI cybersecurity engineers is definitely one of those things too as well. And then also too, we've already had product managers, but now you are starting to see focus areas of artificial intelligence. Having product categories of product managers too as well. And stuff. So those are like roles that are happening within like kind of like like the tech world as well. But the skill sets of what we're teaching and what we're showcasing and what we're seeing, the skill sets of entrepreneurs being able to understand, grasp, and get a hold of, you know, uh, different use cases of how to use AI to, advance, understand, get information quickly and stuff better, is that I think that is the big opportunity to it as well. So an example here, and I've had the privilege of partnering with Dream Machine and Google on doing different workshops and stuff here. But an example here is like Gemini. So Gemini is one of those platforms or one of those tools where it's like, people have used it. So people have used it, people have heard of it and everything, but people kind of use Gemini, then kind of fast forward and kind of keep moving. So one of those things and stuff that people haven't fully kind of grasped yet. Actually, we'll do two. One of those things I really, really enjoy, and hopefully you guys will be able to hear the stuff here when I share my screen and stuff here. Hopefully you'll be able to, hear and see this. Trying to think of platform and stuff here. Actually, let's do this. Yeah, we'll do this. So with Gemini and Google, what they have is called AI Studio. And so AI Studio is, familiar. It's similar to, Gemini or ChatGPT and everything. So it is a model. And so Google's model is Gemini 2.0. And also too, they have Gemini 2.5 and stuff that has came out and stuff recently. And so one of the biggest things is like, you can chat and such with Gemini, just like you do in a regular prompt. But there is one particular thing that I really enjoy with Gemini compared to like other models and stuff here. So I'm gonna show you. Mm, So, right. All right, cool. So, yeah, let's do this. All right, cool. So, I'm in Google AI Studio, and so you can write a prompt, just like you do in ChatGPT. You can, generate images, video, too as well. And then you can also kind of create starter apps. I don't want to click on this right now. 'Cause I'm building some stuff in there. But the big one that I really, really enjoy is Gemini Live. So Gemini Live gives you the ability to talk, to let's talk within Google AI Studio. Also share your webcam, too as well, so you can have it as a front facing, type of thing. But the biggest one though for me is to share your screen. So let's do this. I really, really hope you guys can hear this. I'm doing a double share. That's interesting. So let's see if this is going to work. Mm, I gotta move this over. I got 95 tabs up and do not judge me. I don't want to hear it. Where'd it go? Oh, wait. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. All right. So, Gemini, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your stream. I see a template gallery with options like a blank spreadsheet, assignment tracker, invoice, weekly timesheet, and expense report. Are you looking to create one of these?
Yeah. Can we create a expense report on helping me? I wanna take hold of like all of my receipts. So can we create a expense report, Excel? And what I would like you to do
Okay,
is
you'd
I
like to
want
create
you.
an expense report to keep track of your receipts using Excel. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Can you walk me step by step on how to do so? Mhm. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yep. Can you walk me step by step on how to do so?
Okay, first, select the expense report template. Then, you'll fill in the information like employee name, department, manager, date, category, description, amount, and any additional notes. Would you like help tailoring this template to your specific needs?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Great. What specific categories of expenses do you want to track? This will help us customize the template.
Let's do categories in here. I'm gonna stop sharing and stuff here in a second. Um, so so I know I'm doing like a double share, and so I know when I click on a different tab, the audio kind of cuts out and everything. But everything, the whole point is like it's within Google, AI Studio. You can share your screen. You can share your screen. You can have it work like walk you step by step and everything through certain processes and stuff how to do something as well. What's the point? What's the point of what I'm saying that for? When it comes to artificial intelligence in the workforce, we're going to live in a world where every employee will be assigned an AI agent to their job. It will help them do their job more efficient, better, quicker, faster within the brand of said company. And so, if you are, I mean, we're starting to see this in, software engineering, with agents or anything. It's going to happen in marketing. It's going to happen in legal. It's going to happen in custom operations. It's going to happen in all set categories where every role, like once you take a job, you'll be assigned your badge, computer, whatever, and your, AI agent, and stuff with it. And that is, the world is going to live in, which also creates a problem. that problem becomes for individuals who are either on the fence or not learning it. Very quickly, very fastly, we're approaching a world where the term AI illiterate would be a real thing, and that'll be a problem. And so, just like we have computer illiterate and stuff right now, the ones who are stamped as computer illiterate, it's just not going to be, a fun thing. And hopefully, I really hope this won't be the case, but you'll start to see groups, if not communities, being stamped as, AI illiterate, which basically just means you don't know how to interact, with set models. And so, I mean, this is the workforce that we're, going towards. This is the workforce and stuff, that we're leaning to, and and stuff like that. So, I mean, just even with like something like that with Google AI Studio, I mean, the ability to understand and do anything, and stuff, So, like for example, I'm a software engineer. I just wanted to see if it was going to work. I set up. I had it walk me step by step on setting up like an Amazon EC2 server, AWS EC2 server, and I just wanted to see if it worked, and it did. And so as well, and so which is extremely impressive that that you'll be able to do so, and for several categories. And so the ability for it break down things for it to showcase, for it to help you understand. I mean this thing is happening fast. It's happening fast, and it's happening quick and stuff like that as well. So with it being said, man, I launched a Patreon to help, uh, individuals, entrepreneurs, everyday professionals get a better understanding of how to use, set tools, how to not only use set tools, but also to the advanced tactics of things. And so, one of the things I'm realizing too as well is that we're at a place right now where this is, kind of like no longer like, hey, it's still about people using AI, for sure. But what I'm realizing and stuff now is that it's the advanced tactics of how to use artificial intelligence is what's creating the separator. And so, the separator um, is showing people and everything how to use the advanced tactics. And so, Magnus right here said, hey, voice agents is a game changer, for restaurants. Absolutely. And stuff. And so knowing how to set those things up is what's creating the distance, for people who are advanced or people who already kind of like figured this thing out, or not who has figured it out, but who has figured this thing out. And I think that's what's creating the, true separator, because you have these companies, the OpenAIs of the world, the Anthropics of the world. You have these companies that are creating, they're creating models and updating these models, quarterly, several times a year, and they're making them better to do advanced and stuff, more tactics things. And so I'm a person where, I lead workshops. I've led now over 100 different workshops, and people still don't know how to do the basic things well, and people for sure don't know how to do the advanced things. And so one of the questions I've consistently been thinking lately is, with companies like OpenAI, who are you building for? Majority, and I already know the majority of the user base is not using the advanced things that it has capability to do. That we're still just prompting and just using, several, different tools and stuff there, which is fine. But there are advanced things and stuff you can do. So going back to what Magnus stuff said here in the comments is, I set up a custom GPT, and I realized a lot of people don't know what GPTs is, thing within OpenAI, which is just specialized areas of ChatGPT. I set up a custom GPT that will place phone calls on my behalf. And I taught workshops and everything. I'll be doing one in my Patreon here in a couple of weeks, and showing you how to basically build an AI phone assistant in a custom GPT that can work and stuff on your behalf. And so, those things are not difficult. It sounds extremely complex. It sounds like, this big technical infrastructure, but just something simple, tasks like that, those things are not difficult. Now, if you're trying to set up an AI phone agent that's going to process, several thousand calls and everything, okay, yeah, that's a little more complex and stuff for sure. But just to have the capabilities of, like, hey, can you make a call to Matt and see if he's available for lunch next Wednesday? I'll be in town. And let's see if we'll see if we can get burgers or whatever. And it can place that call, to that person, and talk to them in a very, human-like, conversation, and then respond to you with the information that that person said and stuff with. And so, and this is where we're headed, man. This is where we're headed, and stuff like that. We're headed towards a workforce where we're headed to a workforce where I don't want to say it like this. We're headed to a workforce where the advanced and the unadvanced will basically be the individuals who know how to use the advanced tools and the ones who don't. And then a third category of that is the ones who are just not using it at all, and those ones will be marked as AI illiterate, and which unfortunately, how this country, this world is set up, that also too will be a large determining factor on the new workforce and the new financial categories where people will live in, and stuff as well. And so it can be a lot. It can be scary. It can be concerning, and it's supposed to be. It's one of those things where this is a technology where there is not a category it will not impact. And so if you're not using it, you're probably communicating with it, and to some degree. And so there is not a category that this will not impact. There's not a individual that this will not impact, and so you can say like, oh, I'm a farmer. It's not, I don't do anything with it, but you're buying tools, set things and everything from Amazon and everything, which they have their, AI infrastructure in the back end and stuff like that too as well. So, there's not an area where this is not going to impact. And so, yeah, man, I launched a Patreon to help individuals understand not only the basic things but the advanced things. And so, in this world, we'll be talking about several different models or anything. So everything from OpenAI to Azure AI for Microsoft. I'll be integrating some things from Hugging Face and everything. And so, I'll be breaking things down. So as complex and as difficult as it may sound, I'll be breaking things down and stuff. Case by case. So, man, don't feel threatened. Don't allow these things to be a red light. At most, allow them things to be a yellow light, but also come with your concerns, come with your questions. And then we can all figure it out. Together as we're leading towards this AI centric workforce as well. So, with that being said, man, guys, feel free to follow me. I am Marlon Avery and stuff on all platforms. The Patreon is it's in the description, but I'll put it here too, in the comments as well. And I will be showcasing, I'll be building, I'll be doing a lot of these things, as we move forward in the coming weeks. So, with that being said, my people, I am out.